Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the January 8th, 2026 Rockingham County Board of Commissioners meeting. I call the meeting to order. Ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the meeting room, we have all three Board of Commissioners. We have a number of department heads, and I see a few guests here. I think all related to the janitorial bid and discussion for the housekeeping services. So with that, we'll move right into the RFP opening awards. And first, we have the opening for the emergency dispatch radio and 911 recording system for the Sheriff's Department.
I'll make a motion to authorize the High Sheriff to review, evaluate the proposal, and return with a recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving right to the consent agenda. We have the November 20th and November 26th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 20th and November 26th, 2025 public and non-public minutes.
Second.
Discussion?
They look good.
Okay, thank you.
Lengthy.
Exactly. No, very thorough.
Prompt.
I think sometimes we let you summarize some minutes better than I orate, so I appreciate that. I think you make us all look good in the process of conveying the message. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Godu,
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Surplus equipment request for pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 28(8)A for the county attorney's office.
I'll make a motion to approve a surplus equipment request pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 28:8-A and declare miscellaneous office furnishings from the county attorney's office surplus, but with the items to be disposed accordingly by facilities management.
Second.
Discussion?
Chuck, I noticed in this one, that it says 3,000. Do we always put an amount in this? And
That's what the law changed to. It used to be $300 of value. And the law was changed, I think about 2 years ago to being it was finally updated, let's put it that way, to being $3,000 individual value.
Until I came in earlier, I saw the 3,000. I said, I think that's a mistake. I always remember the other amount of money. I saw 3,000 today, and I'm like, why is that saying 3,000?
Yeah, it was the same year that the bid threshold went from 5,000 to 10,000. That's what
Well, yeah, I mean, with the cost of all sorts of things, it makes.
Yeah, even the state had updated to 10,000 as far as itself.
And here we're just talking about getting rid of some of the old equipment that was at the courthouse that now that we have the new furniture, it's wonderful. And I think that it is worth noting that we, reached out to everyone across the county for needs of use of any of the equipment. So it was like properly cared for. And thank you to your team for your efforts and to the county attorneys for both inventorying as well as making efforts to dispose of these things.
We'll have a bunch of desks and stuff.
What'd you say?
We'll have a bunch of desks and everything else in the near future.
Yeah, no, I mean.
As the people need them. So we'll have a bunch from upstairs at some point to see people need them.
Well, I guess once some of the benefits of moving, we go through what you don't need, what you need, and it's not such a bad process. On the motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have the January 8th, 2026 accounts payable list.
Make a motion to approve the January 28, 2026 accounts payable list of $3,084,111.84.
Second.
Discussion?
So that famous state bill.
State bill, yeah, 1.6, one half of the,
Yeah.
more than, yeah. half.
They can forget the bill is 1 month. Would be pretty good. But I don't think they'll forget.
On the motion, Commissioner Godu,
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving right into Commissioner's Office reports. First, any updates?
I have
when we were away at the convention, I spoke with somebody that had money available for grants. And I'd like to just put it out there, are we interested in applying for a feasibility study grant to see if it's feasible to put affordable housing on the campus someplace? I think it involves essentially applying for a block grant for some funds that we would hire civil engineers or whoever is appropriate to determine whether or not it's a good
There's an
idea or bad,
opportunity,
if
yeah.
there's an opportunity. I see a lot of land out there. It seems obvious to me. We could put some housing out there, but I know it's much more complicated than that, and it would need some serious, take a look at to see what's appropriate. But I see a benefit to the county to have workforce housing close by, because we're still short on staff. And this would enhance that, because no place close by you can live inexpensively.
Well, I mean, if we can get a grant for a feasibility study,
But-
it seems like a no-brainer. We get data with no cost to us. Like, let's, and so maybe we should refer to the, over to finance from the grant department to see about applying for the grant and do.
Yeah, I know that already Madison's been reaching out to Donna Lane about feasibility study grants. And what Donna Lane has said is that generally speaking, when those are awarded, the intent is that if it is approved based upon the results, then there's actions that would theoretically be taken based upon the results.
So we have to be able to
It's like
act on it
actionable.
to,
kind of.
yeah,
So that's
Well-
the one thing, but yes, we can have up to 25,000 for community development block grant. The next official round of overall awards are in July. So obviously we have plenty of time to prepare accordingly and to make sure we have all the ducks are in a row as far as any sort of application.
well, I mean, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, if that doesn't work, could the second part of it possibly be a golf course?
Well,
You know?
I don't see quite as much benefit to the county, but that's
So
a good idea.
I would be. We don't wanna talk about like keeping all the,
Running track.
no. I'm just gonna move on. Okay.
That's all I had.
So
I just wanted to bring that up.
Would it be valuable to you- Who's the, do you know who the point of contact was at the conference about the? grant
Chuck,
program?
who was that I spoke with her with Chuck? I've got an email address on my desk at home. With the person, because she specifically said this was an opportunity to look at. You don't remember her name. I'll figure it out.
Dylan is not one of the ones.
There was a specific person that we spoke with that was involved. with,
Maybe it would be valuable to connect that individual with Madison as a, like, just to see, obviously Donnelly is a great resource.
I didn't
but
want to do that until
Yeah.
there was a little bit of agreement that we think it's a good idea.
I appreciate what you're saying there.
I think
Great.
Drew would be thrilled,
I would
Oh,
love another. project.
No.
Nothing else. I told you I was gonna look for
We can
something
do
new
this
for you.
building, I'm sure you can put up some advantages.
Well, some residential units after
I'm
doing
ready.
this, it's like, oh my gosh, you're like,
Piece of cake.
you can leave 2 loaves at home. Leave 2 loaves at home. Okay. Do you have anything, Commissioner Harrell? Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else, Commissioner Godu?
I do not.
Just sit down now. So, just, Jude, you'll elaborate a little bit more where we stand with the courthouse after, just, because Monday we had anticipated to
Sure.
move some stuff, but the stuff was already moved.
All of the metal and movable stuff has gone into deeds already.
Yeah.
I have 2 contacts now for metal removal. One of them I got from Chuck Maceos. He talked to us about it a couple of weeks ago. I was waiting for the declaration, so we'll start making phone calls, get them, come out, see if he'll give us a price to remove it, or even better, give us money to remove it. And there are still some large desks in the county attorney's side that need to be disassembled and moved out.
Okay.
We'll probably get a dumpster.
Work in progress.
For one Sawzall away from.
Exactly right, we're almost there. And when we get to that point, I know that the superintendent, and he's offered up Michael Evans and his crew to come and give us some muscle to get the work done, and that's definitely the plan when we get there.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I think next up is a discussion of the janitorial, proposals and bid. Did anybody? Where we stood, I guess I'll take it initially, so, Chuck, so two things. One, I know Jude's team evaluated the cleaning products, just to look at that aspect before we, discuss making an award, and it seemed like all were satisfactory, so that takes out that, issue. Chuck kindly, I think maybe at your behest, like, broke out the base cost, carpet and windows, and we have this spreadsheet before us that details those out. I did some additional just analysis for sort of man or woman hours, like personnel hours daily, just to, like, that's one piece of data that's instructive in terms of value. You know, I don't, we can.
Okay,
if you
so
wanna take on some, go ahead.
Sure, in my review of this whole proposal, I've
Actually concluded that I have different interest in what our needs are, than what the RFP actually went out as. And I think that the immediate needs are to have employees, contractors here on staff to do the floors, the bathrooms, the waste baskets, you know, the basic maintenance of the building. That is something that we've got to need now, we're always gonna need to have. And it was prompted by the first guy, American Facilities, that they just listed it per hour. And I like the concept. Now, I think the others have offered some similar situations as well. And frankly, I'm happy with all of the companies that I see. It's just that I think that we should be moving towards, we're going to have somebody in the building 12 hours a day or 12 man hours a day. This is what it's gonna cost us per hour during the daytime. This is what it's gonna cost us per hour after a certain time, and leave it at that. The other two functions I've got way too many questions about how we're handling the carpet cleaning and what the actual needs of the carpet cleaning are. Are they gonna have a steam guy out in front with a big long hose going through the whole thing? Or is it gonna be some other kind of combined unit? There just are a lot of questions on how that carpet cleaning will be done and what our real needs are. I think those needs for carpet cleaning and window cleaning, that's the other thing. Exterior windows, are they gonna do the interior of the exterior windows? And does that include all the glass that is throughout this building? There's a lot more glass. I think the glass of the interior should probably be by the normal labor. But okay, so my bottom line is I'd like to separate this to have, I think we need 12 man hours a week in the building. And I'd like a contractor to come in and tell us like when the hours are, how much we're paying, and then make a decision on, and then that's something that a year from now or 6 months from now, we can say, hey, this isn't working, we need 24 man hours, or maybe we only need 10 man hours. You know, I don't know what we'll need. I think there's so many questions. I'd like to start slow rather than dive into all of these things. And unfortunately, they didn't really come clear to my mind until after the RFPs came in, because they all came in so differently.
Commissioner Tombrello, do you want to weigh
I
in?
mean, I looked at it, and I'm concerned of a few items. The window cleaning with the 3 stories and some of the prices that, I'm out in the field, I'm contractor, I think the price is really too low, and I'm concerned, you know, they're gonna need boom trucks, they're gonna have to rent some kind of boom trucks, and I'm nervous about that, I'm nervous about a couple of different things. I'm not comfortable with this, and right now, I don't see a need. We have somebody that's here for 12 years, and I mean, I think it needs more work. I would agree with Commissioner Rodu. See, you never said I agree with you. See that? You wanna mark that down?
I'm surprised.
I just think it needs a little more work. I'm not ready, and if I was, I would be going with the current vendor. through the fact that we have history with him. The other ones are all good. I got a call from one of them that I know personally, and he called me, really, I think, somebody else had called me about sending a letter, one of the folks that are there, to the commissioner. They said, you can just call us or leave us a voicemail. I mean, they all want the work. I just don't know if we're there right now with this RFP. Maybe it needs to be altered, but otherwise, I'm pretty content to stay with the current company that we have and see where we lie at the end of 26.
I personally feel like having the thoroughness of the RFP, that went out, as well as, I know, and we've gone through and, thanks to a lot of contributors, I think we do have a fair amount of data. I agree that I think the move in terms of, I agree to the extent that Commissioner Tombrelli, you previously suggested that we do a one-year contract, and I think that makes most sense. At the end of the day, we narrowed the list to 3 because they were, sort of in the middle of that price point. They, they all had good references, and ultimately we felt like these 3 had the best potential for the county moving forward with the new contract. So then I said, okay, let's I appreciate Chuck. I know you gave us some analysis about cost, breaking down carpets and windows and in the base. I was encouraged that the carpet pricing came in fairly similar, like the rate was pretty similar. So I felt like, okay, these are the experts. We're going to get relatively the same service, or pretty close given those numbers. I had some concerns when I started windows, and I know there was one price for $3,000. I had the same concerns you did. I was like, do you see how tall those are?
Windows.
That boom, there is no way. I mean, I'm having rented booms before, very small. Those are, that I thought that was undervalued. And then I looked at hours, like, what are we getting? What is our value? Like, what are we getting? And it seems to me, it's like, what is the best value of these 3? Because these were kind of in the middle. They're all well vetted. And so ultimately, when I looked at the price, I came out at Star Building being the best for the county. And the reason I came out there is because they have the most hours at 14. So the price point is actually, they're at 134.8 all in. There's some debate about what American Facilities is at, whether it's 128 or 163, but even establishing that 128 number, I felt like that $3,000 for windows just seems like really short to me. And their previous initial bid was 163. And then, so they had the most man hours, but also they really, the thing I thought was most compelling about Star is that they have 10 evening hours. And so they're going to be they're going to most fit the bill in terms of what we've requested, that the afternoon to evening hours where we need the most. So they have the most hours overall. And I think they're going to best fit our needs in terms of sort of split shift, second shift hours. So it seemed like I would feel comfortable moving forward with them because it's the most, it's a great price point for the county, and we're getting the most bang for the buck, if you will, with not acknowledging that, all 3 and the reference check were excellent. And I think it was most responsive to what the needs of the county are. Anyway, you guys.
Okay, well, so my issue is I would really like to cancel this RFP and put a new one out and have the new one only be for custodial services. And design the RFP so it specifically says this is how many hours, this is how many hours we want, this is how much, this is the services we expect, and this is how much we're going to pay per hour, and the bid will be, what's the rate?
I don't know if that's, because these other things I think are completely separate. They're at best twice a year, they need to come in. We don't know how much window cleaning and how much carpet cleaning we're gonna need. Although, but you're right, the carpet cleaning seemed to be kind of even, but yeah, that's almost like a carpet cleaning job. You know, people come out and do just carpet cleaning. They charge $1 a foot or there's some number that is easily comparable. That's not comparable. I don't know how many square feet we have of carpet and what's gonna be done. And this is kind of a way to have employees here that are on contract that we don't have to put on our payroll and such. But the way that RFP was written, it's all inclusive, and I think I would like to change it to hours.
Well, you know where I stand, so you can be the.
I mean, I would be supportive of looking at this. All of them did tour the building. So I'm concerned that maybe we shoved this too quick forward. I mean, there's one group that said that saying that it would cause a change order. So obviously one price is gonna go up in one group. And there's one group that actually gave us a reference and they don't even clean the place that they referenced. They plow their driveway. I mean, maybe we pushed it too fast. Maybe we pushed it too fast. We got in here and I think, you know, we got in here and just weren't ready for a decision. And I'm not comfortable. I'm not saying, I think they're all good. I think we narrowed down from, I think we had 9 groups. Some of them a little, I think they rushed at it and didn't spend some time. There wasn't a lot of good backup to it. I think I'd be in favor, although they're all good. They're all good. I could stay with this company that's presently here, that's been a 12-year person for 2 more months, send this thing back out, alter it. I could do it. I mean, if the decision was to go with Star or any of them, I would be okay. But I would definitely, whoever would get it, would be a 1-year contract. I think we gotta really look and make sure that somebody's
Is
knowing what they say. I mean, we could break a contract.
Is it-
If we had to, but we'd be penalized.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
basically, I
Yeah.
think that we should not be
We don't
looking
wanna.
at going into a contract and getting sued for. But what, is there any, I mean, department heads, has anybody reviewed, or do you have any, Kathy, you're here, you're,
I mean, I looked at, you know, obviously I looked at the stuff. I mean, I'm always concerned about making sure that the office is clean and picked up because I have high traffic public in my office. And so, you know, for me, we've always done it all inclusive. That's how we've done it. That's how we did it with Mike for years, right? It was everything, you know, and I know that I took a lot of time and painstakingly wrote out every single thing that needs to be done in my area.
you're
Right.
saying with respect to the RFP?
With respect to the RFP.
I just, because
Absolutely.
it's like, where are we going? And that's why we want to get the individuals the stakeholders who contributed.
Right. No, and I agree with you with regard to the windows, because that to me is gonna be a huge issue. I can't even imagine, because there are just so many windows and, you know, us being on the 3rd floor. It's a very unique, you know, because remember, we were on the bottom floor in the old building, so it was easy, right, inside and
You're usually
outside.
underwater anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know, so it was a lot easier. So I mean, this is a real challenge when you think about just the windows, right? And we have a lot more, I don't know about you, but we have a lot more carpet more so than we did in the old place, because of course my computer rooms and my processing rooms and all the stuff in the back was all linoleum. You know, we didn't have a lot of carpet. So I mean, and I know that when Mike would do it, the back door would have to be open or whatever. I don't know what the plan is, you know, I think it's probably bringing the whole thing inside the building to do it. Because we can't have doors opened, right? I mean, but it's totally up to you guys. I mean, right now, they're doing a good job, you know, but, you know, I mean, when you guys are now all of a sudden changing the whole dynamic of what the RFP was, which was all inclusive, and I know that Chuck spent a lot of time putting it together. you know, because I know you put together your list, I put together my list, I'm sure the sheriff did his list as well, so, you know, that's the only comments I'm gonna make. It's your decision to make, you're the board, it's your decision.
Yeah, certainly the glass
Yeah,
windows
I
seem to
mean,
be the biggest.
you can award
difficulty.
separate, you can award separate pieces. I've commented on, I don't think you'd wanna put out an RFP specifying number of hours, because
Yeah.
each individual company is gonna take a different amount of time to get the job done. You know, whether it's quality of personnel or what hours they're actually working as far as shifts or what have you. So I wouldn't necessarily lock in. That was part of the thing as far as that these companies are the experts. They all did the tour. They all were given all 3 floor plans in detail. They know how many bathrooms that there are. You know, they were given other details about the building. They were to respond in what they felt it would take to clean the building to meet the RFP requirements. That's,
I think 12, if you're talking 12 hours in a week, absolutely not.
No,
it was
day.
daily.
Oh,
It meant
day.
daily.
So a day.
12 man
okay.
hours a day,
Okay, thank you.
or
I
14,
I
was started
wasn't
by
sure what you were
14.
saying, I'm like, 12 hours, are you talking about the week?
Start-
Nothing will get done.
Star is at 14, just as a,
Very, okay.
it's just, that was a relative. Did you want something?
Well, I don't know if it's, can we approve the contract minus
Window?
the windows?
Absolutely.
I mean, because that's not how we put the RFP out.
I think there is some part in there where it said as far as specifying the separate dollar amounts for the different components. And I believe that we had the ability to award separately in there, I believe, in the RFP.
But-
So you could just not include the windows.
I would just say, I mean, like, what the representation, would that change your, I guess, let me start with this. Would that change for you, Commissioner Godu, your willingness to move forward? Or you, Commissioner Tombrello?
I would make a comment that, you know, I wish we could put our own people in here, nothing to do with the outside contractors, but unfortunately, a couple of years ago, we privatized assisted living. I mean, I was part of the group way back when we privatized that dining. I wish we could get people in, nothing to do with them. They need to make a living and be in business, but this is a hard thing to have somebody come do our work. And it's, part of me is disappointed that we can't get them because our job is not really to be hiring subcontractors. We're here to be county employees, we have 500 plus employees, and I wish we didn't have to get on the second, but that's not the question you asked me. Well, first of all, Chuck said he thinks it's in the RFP that we can alter those things, so if he thinks, I'm not ready to vote if you're not sure, Chuck, that we can take those bits and pieces out.
I mean, I just don't have it
But-
memorized. but
Yeah, so I wouldn't wanna,
But can I just
Yeah.
posit something? I mean, why, we're like working against ourselves to exclude it from the RFP, right? I mean, if the bid comes in lower and that's what they've contracted for, that's it. Why would we exclude it from the RFP and then they come back and say it's higher? It's like, well, this is what you
Well,
bid.
yeah, it's an all-in
So
deal.
I think we're kind of working against ourselves at this juncture to eliminate that from the RFP. We're like, if the price comes in for windows that's significantly higher, then we're just like shooting ourselves in the foot.
Well, in defense of that is in 1 year, we redo the RFP for a contract, that price will change because they'll say, hey, that shouldn't have been 5,000, it should have been 15,000.
Sure, so we'll
So
deal
it
with
could
that.
be altered.
Of course, that's why we're only doing a one, but I mean, I don't know why we would. If we think it's too low, it's like, we're not the experts, they're gonna do it for that.
It says in the RFP that we can accept or reject any proposals or parts thereof.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
we could do that.
Just because, but I'm in the position of just because we can, doesn't mean we should, but I, like,
Well, then in that case, why don't we just go with the lowest bid?
I hear what you're saying. My point is that the lowest bid, if you will,
Isn't 50 hours.
You don't think they're apples and apples?
No, well, I mean, we know they're not apples to apples from just hourly rate, right? One's 12, if we're going for to
Yeah,
me,
one's 12, one's 14, and what's,
undefined, but closer to 12. Think that,
yeah,
so, but I think what we get with Star is more hours on that later in the day shift. That's what so. And so if you're, I mean, I think, I don't know which number we're adopting, but for argument's sake, let's say that American Facilities is the lowest bid at 128, right? On a just dollar amount. But you're getting 2 hours a day, for the year
with Star.
with Star, and you're getting more hours at the off shift times, which for American is OT.
They've all bid this differently, and that's what it's difficult to
I
make
agree,
a comparison. That
That's
was my
why-
interest in
that's why,
doing it,
but
so that we could compare.
that's why, yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I did that, my personal breakdown.
Or. I want this to be over to us, much as those folks on the TV wanted to know what we wanted to know. Well, maybe we just, what is the price for everybody to do 14 hours a day in this building? And clean the rugs and clean the windows? I mean, that's probably not the way the RFP was set up, so it's really not fair, I would say. The RFP was to clean the building and give us the price, and they're just telling us on the
But,
bid amount what it includes.
and then there's the secondary issue of that, I mean, the timing of the hours, that's another variable that, again, that's why I gave. I mean-
Well, we could specify that in a new RFP. That we
But they-
want 10 hours after hours.
But we know, I mean, I think we have the data, because we know what, like, the rate is gonna be for, American Facilities, we know, I feel like we have the data, we just have to make a decision. And I mean, it's not easy, but
I'm not clear what our rate of pay is on these.
well, this
That
one
that-
is,
That's all in.
The first one
Only one
specifies,
does
the other two are kind of all in.
The
Right.
first one gives an hour.
but what is it? It's,
That's what it has.
yeah, but the point is, I mean, we know what the all in, so, but what I'm just saying is, because American gave after, they gave the rates, the after hours rate, we can extrapolate that if we want more after hours rate, we can do the math. 42 times 2, right, for 2 hours a day, times 5, times 52. It's another $21,000.
So you think Star is less money than American?
I know that Star's less money than American if you want an hour to hour. If you do the math. Sure, go ahead, yeah.
Did
Okay,
you
just
folks
a-
want the cleaning people want to make a comment on what we've discussed and maybe say we were wrong, and don't say we were wrong, you'll be in trouble, but. Maybe you guys will say that we're not. We might have an answer to our rebuttal, I guess.
The difference.
42.
Oh.
5 days a week.
I would start out.
Well, but you would miss $28 an hour. But, because it was 2 more hours.
The
It was
RFP did
14
not
instead of 5.
ask, it asked for a price to do the job. I'm at a point where I don't consider the hours, I consider what it takes to do the job. If it's gonna take us 16 hours to do the job, then that's what it's gonna take. I put the price in that's what it asked for. It didn't ask for an hourly rate. I could have done it that way, but that is not what it asked for. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, 40 years. I've been with you guys for 12. I definitely would like to stay. On my opening letter, it said that I'm willing to work with you in any way I can. So if that be that a company puts in by the hour and it can go up and down, I mean, I can do that. But you ask for a certain price. Will the price be good for 60 days from the opening of the bid? So that's what I get. That's the price I came up with. It's not a set program that you go. I did a lot of time, a lot of different research. I priced it out a couple of different ways, and that's what I come up with. I am kind of concerned about. I see that in Kathy's area, the windows are to be done 4 times a year, which I didn't see anybody mention anything about that. And as you said, doing the windows is going to be.
You mean the interior glass?
Yes. Doing the windows is definitely going to be a. With the way that those things stick out in the middle, it's a lot of work. That in Kathy's office, that shelf goes all the way down along the back area. You can't really be stepping on that. So that adds to the problem. And that is all inclusive in my bid. And I'm not, I mean, I what's in there is what's in it, but as far as like whether concerning the weather, the out front of the building, it looks like heck. That wasn't done in the post-construction cleanup. I've been working at that. I got some of the front windows done. You know, so as far as that goes, I'm here to do whatever the building needs done. That's the bottom line. If I have to come up with an hourly price, I can do that. But when I went by what the RFP said, I laid it all out. I gave the different. I even went a little farther because I did the window separately for her, and then I deducted that from the total window job, which I'm not all that comfortable with neither. That's going to be a tricky job. But yeah, mine is all inside and out. That's what I would try it at. So I guess that's what I got to say. All right.
I'd like to hear from the other two.
Absolutely. Does anybody, what'd you say?
Star's not here.
Yes.
Oh, Star is not here?
Well,
Okay, well, let's listen to American. Somebody like to speak for American Facilities and based on what we have just, our concerns?
Yes, I believe Chris is going to chime in if he's available. If not, I can take it, Chris. I know he was struggling with his service. Oh, he says he's muted. Can you unmute him? Kayla, is that an option?
I can ask him to unmute.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so I'm Chris Bright. I'm the founder and CEO of American Facilities. Listen to everything. I think you guys have some valid concerns, and I think it's stuff that works itself out with a new building. You know, I'm with the other gentleman that just spoke. When this was put out, it was put out based on scope. And when we did the walkthrough with Chuck, you know, you look at the number of bathrooms, you look at the square footage, and then you calculate based on best practices, the number of man hours it's going to take. So if we can do that in 12 hours and someone can do that in 14, to me, that shows a 2-hour inefficiency difference. And so we're working on this based on the scope to do the work. And we think that the hours that we submitted allow us to fully execute that contract exactly to the specifications that you guys provided. And so if we come in at that price so we can get it done in 12 hours, that's the price that you're going to pay. So I think it's kind of a apples and oranges to be looking at it versus price versus the number of hours. If someone is a lower hourly rate, but is coming in at 14 hours and a higher overall value, again, to me, that's the type of stuff that American Facilities, we look to drive efficiencies and reduce cost. The second thing is with respect to windows, we did come in low. And the reason is we want to win this. This is a important opportunity for us. And when we do these types of contracts, we do a lot of federal contracting, we'll bundle certain types of services. So Commissioner Tombrello talked about renting a lift truck. Well, if we don't have to rent a lift truck, then our price can be lower. And so we're able to bundle labor across, a geographic area and the type of work we're doing to drive results. And that's our value proposition. That's how we've built this company. And that's why we've been, delivering value to companies like Raytheon and Facebook and Dunkin' Donuts, because we look at this type of work from an innovative way to figure out how can we deliver the best quality for the best price. And this is the way we do it. So I hope you'll consider us. If we need to come back with more information, I'm happy to do so. But thanks for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Disappointing to me that there's no one from Star here, but
What was that question?
good.
Chris, you mentioned this, Tommy Tombrello, you mentioned that you guys have the ability to do the windows and don't have to rent boom trucks. You actually have trucks that can do them? Because obviously you're not gonna be able to do this with a ladder, and I think the RFP probably needed to spell out that, you folks are doing a lot more than just cleaning a building. That risk goes up, like an electrician's risk compared to a secretary is a lot different, and the guy that fixes the roof, the cost is up. So are all of the insurances covered that you guys are gonna be able to go on?
Yeah, that's actually a great point, Commissioner. We carry all the insurances. Where that actually starts to impact us is not necessarily on our insurance, but on our workers' comp that we have to carry. So it's important that we code the types of people that are doing stuff. So to your point, if I have a landscaper, I code him as one way. If I have somebody working on a roof, I code him a different way. And that drives my workers' comp insurance, but it wouldn't affect the insurances that we have to cover your building. So that general liability, errors and omissions, all the insurance we have to carry. It's pretty crazy. We have to carry a $5 million policy for Shell. We're doing a lot of work for them across the country, and they require massive amounts of insurance. So nothing you would require would even come remotely close to the type of insurance I have to carry to do underground directional drilling off of a high-powered gas line in Vegas. So we're totally covered on that, and we can handle that. With respect to your question about owning a boom truck, I don't, but we have relationships with these different companies. And so we'll use them on some of our high rises. We're doing a lot of mill buildings in Manchester that require that. And how we work that is if we have them contracted for 40 hours that week, we're only using them for 30. I have 10 hours that I could divert to stuff like this. And with a project like that on Windows, where it's not necessarily driven by doing it on a certain day, I have flexibility to plug those 10 hours in. And so you ultimately get the lift truck for free. And that's how we work that and drive efficiencies with respect to skilled and unskilled trades across a geographic area.
Did you already ask that question?
Which one, Kat?
That question, that gave you a lot of information.
Yeah. And I guess I would ask, CM is here. Mike, do you guys have availability to get? I'm really concerned that $3,000 or even close to 4,000 is not enough, but it is what it is. If you, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I got a feeling that the second year, whoever gets this contract will be coming back and saying that should have been 14,000 and not 4. And obviously I'm concerned about liability. I saw in the paper this morning where a guy from Salem, New Hampshire fell off a roof yesterday. He got killed. So I think of safety, and I think of OSHA, although we're, the county here, OSHA, we're still subject to OSHA coming in and watching outside contractors with lifts. And I know one thing, I've been to Concord before and gone in front of OSHA. There's self-funding. So if you think you know somebody at OSHA, you know, there's self-funding and the federal government does not support OSHA. OSHA gets all their money by the bad list, the extension cords.
Fines.
Yeah,
Right.
I have
fines.
also been there.
They do not do it. And the guy, I knew somebody in there and he said, Tom, just to let you know, we're self-funding. So,
I believe that.
I get nervous of that and, you know, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned the poor fellow that got killed, but I think of somebody getting hurt. I'd rather have a dirty window than somebody fall off a ladder and break a neck. But I'm just concerned, that's my concern.
Based on the information, so just to put us back on track, based on the information you both, you guys, I mean, I think I think we should try to move forward and make a decision, but I mean, does the information you've heard change your thought process or give you any more comfort in making a decision today?
Yes, I feel comfortable with American Facilities. They're the low bidder. I like their professionalism. I like what I'm hearing and think it's to the benefit of the county, save some money and they had references that I know they have some significant contracts and they're here. That itself says how interested they are in the business with us. To me, they're the lowest bidder based on this. I understand that this one says 14 and 12 to 12, but they also have all kind of said, well, it's not really how many hours, it's getting the job done. And as much as I was kind of focused on how many hours are we getting, well, I can understand the argument of we're gonna get the job done and this is what it's gonna, you know, we'll accept that responsibility and we will get the job done for however many hours we say that we're gonna do it for. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know if anybody else can agree with me at this point, but I would go with American Facilities. For an amount not to exceed 128, 217.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Chuck and I had a conversation in my office before the meeting. And Chuck, you and I made a note here, they're saying other would cause a change order. That would be regarding American Facility. So I made a note.
I believe from the additional information on their financial portion that was provided on December 23rd, that if other additional hours were required to be a blended rate of $35 an hour.
I guess the question would go to them is that a true statement?
And that's what was submitted. There was not an estimate of a definitive amount of hours, but if additional hours were needed, it was gonna be a blended of 35 per hour. That was submitted on December 23rd.
That's a question, and maybe this is a question for both CNM, and we should ask as a start, if additional hours, so they really are using it as an hourly rate. What we heard from Mike, I will say, is that he's like, it's an all-in, get the job done. So is there an additional cost for if additional hours are needed?
No, that's the price that I gave, and that's what I thought that the RFP asked for, was a set price, not a flexible.
Do we want to make that inquiry of start as well? I mean, if they're, to me, the bid is an all-in, so it makes me nervous, and I have to say that completely eliminates American Facilities for me, because I'm like, I don't want to get into the game of having an RFP and then now it's like we're renegotiating. No, this is it. This is like, because what that suggests is they are just doing it now. So if we're down between, for me, Star and CM, and you don't feel, I mean.
Am I able to speak to that just real quick?
Just a minute, I just want Commissioner Tombrello to weigh in first, and then if you don't mind.
I mean, you know, the bottom line is I want the building to get cleaned. I keep seeing the hour thing and the hour. I want to know, what does it cost to clean this building? I mean, I wish it didn't have to come to hours. I wish you tell me what it's going to cost to clean this building.
Okay.
Aren't we gonna get a contract that is going to lay out exactly how our business relationship will be? Because these are our RFP, these are responses, but it's not a contract. And the contract would specify maximum payment, whether or not we were gonna allow extra hours, all those questions. It seems some of this is contractual.
Ms. Spencer, did you want to weigh in?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to make the comment. That is our all-in bid that you guys are looking at. The additional information that I provided was to provide flexibility to you all if you decided that you needed additional services for any reason. The tour that Chris and Caleb completed and the scope of work that is required is all inclusive within our bid. There will be no additional hours added by American Facilities. That was just to allow you the flexibility with being inside of a new building, and maybe you uncover that you have some additional requests. We wanted you to have that as an option for the night rate and then as the day rate. Based Tom's previous comment about the night rate when we were in the original meeting. So that is our all-in place there. And Commissioner Godu is correct. If there's a scope of work issued within the contract, that scope of work will define that this is inclusive of all the requested cleaning and needs of the building, with no allowed change orders based that scope of work. Because we don't really view it as hours. We discussed hours in the first meeting and everybody was kind of wondering how many hours it would take. And so just trying to be transparent, we lean forward with an hourly rate, hours, things of that sort, so that you could do the calculations in different ways.
So just for clarification, is 128,217 your bottom line number for
Yes.
services for the year? All in?
Yes. Yes.
What if you find out it requires more people at night to do the job?
That is our responsibility based what we lean forward with and what we offered. We took a different approach than the 1 o'clock start time. I think that was discussed in the first meeting. We feel that a brand new building of that sort in our experience requires daily maintenance and upkeep, not more of a reactive maintenance and upkeep, especially when you have the public coming into the building throughout the day and things of that sort. So this leans in for a full day upkeep and then the night cleaning as needed, or according to the requirements.
What time are you intending to start in the day?
Right now, we're starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
In the future, that might push up or add a person because the sheriff's office it's only half open.
See, that. Commissioner Tombrello, may I ask you where you are?
Brentwood. Brentwood, where I wish I was in Aruba. I wouldn't be able to go, actually.
Do you
I mean, obviously, I think we're probably down to 2, yeah.
what are your two? Down to?
I'm probably thinking American and the current vendor.
Why are you discounting Star?
Say that again.
Why are you eliminating
I
Star?
wanted them kind of to be here to answer a couple of questions. There's a couple that I've asked the other 2 groups that aren't here.
Is it valuable to,
I'm not saying-
I'm not inclined to table it. I can't believe I'm even gonna suggest this. However, we've asked specific additional questions. It's like, is it only fair to give them, I can't believe I'm like being the one that says this, to give them an opportunity to answer the same questions that we've now posited. It seems like we could, from a liability standpoint, potentially have some problems if we're asking specific questions with respect to the RFP. If we don't put out like a frequently asked question, I think we have an obligation, and I can't believe I'm tabling this.
I'll second you.
But I don't wanna.
I don't want to either.
No, I feel like we've asked very specific questions from the 2 here. We did not mandate attendance here. And so that gives theoretically Star, and it's not because initially that was where I was coming out, because it really is, if anything, I think I'm leaning more towards the N&M as the process has fleshed out a little bit. But we should give Star an opportunity to address the specific questions we have posited.
Haven't they had the opportunity the last two meetings?
Yes, but I'm saying, but it's not so much that we've asked specific questions today. I mean,
I'm stuck on a low bid.
It's about the money.
well,
I'm consistent.
No, you are.
I put forth I guess, so you don't want to take it, you want to move forward.
I'm not totally against tabling. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to accomplish if we table it, you know, I mean, except to have this next week and have Star attend and we can ask Star the
Well, I
same
think we should
questions
ask
or.
them beforehand and get the answer. Like, I'm not looking to, I mean, I think the remedy is to ask them, say, listen, these specific questions came out at this meeting, A, B, and C, and D. You have an opportunity to respond to A, B, C, and D. We can get it via email, and then we come in and next week is like, we have comment free. You know, like, we've done this out of order because Titch really it should have been public comment, but since we've included them in the process during this discussion, it seems only equitable and to protect the county against liability, to give them exposure, to give them an opportunity to respond. And then at that point, it's like we're shutting off comment
Making a
and we
decision.
just make a decision.
I think we bullet point four questions for
could.
the groups.
To answer,
4 questions there, because I want this, I think we're gonna have.
but we're gonna repeat the questions we have here,
Yep.
including.
Yeah, and I think that's fair to everybody, and you know, although right now there's a group on TV and there's a group sitting behind me, you folks wanna get this done, but you gotta respect that decision. This is a big decision, it's $100,000+ contract, and it's something that we take a lot of pride in to make sure that this building is clean, and I think we gotta respect that we're not just jumping into it. We've been talking about this, I think, 4 or 5 weeks now. So.
Do we
I'd
want
be
to
in
do
favor
this
of tabling.
with a special meeting so we can make a decision on this
We
separately?
meet an hour before a meeting or something with the group.
I don't know, at this point, I think that we've talked it out. We should be able to make a decision by next meeting, right during the meeting.
That's fine, so we'll send out an email to everybody with the specific questions, the ones identified in this, specifically articulated in this, or requested in this meeting. And then, did you have anything else, Commissioner? If you have an additional question or two, then gives everybody, we can ask it in one email to everyone, and then
I think it's
get
fair,
that
it's
data.
fair enough.
Okay. So with that,
I'll move to table this approval and discussion until next meeting.
Second,
on the motion to table, Commissioner Umbrella,
yes.
Commissioner Fudge.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay,
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
You guys are becoming like regulars, you like regulars, you know?
okay, we're gonna move on to facilities, operations, revision energy operation and maintenance service.
Make a motion to approve the revision energy operation and maintenance service agreement effective February 1st, 2026 for the initial term of 1 year with automatic renewal for 1 additional year term. Each term will include an annual fee adjustment based on the percentage change of consumer price index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, Boston, Cambridge, Newton, Mass, New Hampshire, as published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, using the index value of the month of February. Further authorize the chair to sign all necessary documents as recommended by the Senior Director of Planning, Facilities and Planning, and IT.
Second.
Discussion?
Nope, that change to the CPI is a good one.
I think it's supposed to be January though. They only publish every other month. Sorry.
I'll make a friendly amendment to the index value as of the month of January.
Second, yeah.
All those in favor of the friendly amendment? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, just, and now we're going back to the discussion of, with respect to the service agreement. I think Commissioner Godu, you made that suggestion about using the CPI. I think it was a really good one. It puts everyone on equal footing. We've had a nice partnership with Revision, and it's exciting that that partnership will continue. Does anybody else have any comment
No, I'm good to go forward.
on the motion? Commissioner Godu,
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Burns?
Yes.
And I vote yes, and that's to the amended motion. Yes. Okay, Finance Office, PD Equipment Finance Capital Lease Proposal. Ready to get
Now
your,
we're gonna be-
your,
Get ready, take a drink. too. A motion to approve the TD Equipment Finance Inc. capital lease proposal and authorize the chair to sign all necessary documents as recommended by the senior director of finance.
Second,
any discussion?
This is only for the electric vehicle for facilities operations. When the sheriff's vehicles actually come back in after being outfitted, then there'll be a separate capital lease for those vehicles.
Go ahead.
Sure. Well, I noticed that there's a buyout. Can't we just finance all of it and have no buyout? There was like a $9,000 buyout at the end of it.
No, there should just be that we have ownership at the end. This is a lease.
Couldn't we just finance the whole thing and just have no buyout at 9,000?
I don't think,
There's no,
I saw that.
where'd you-
no, it's just the $1 is wrapped up into the overall
$1?
amount. After we pay the 3 years, we own
I
it.
think this is the schedule, the schedule of payments. It's just an interest, yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't give me that. The film was only half a dope today.
On the motion, Commissioner Tom Burrell.
Yeah, I was meant to read that lease.
First, we have the motion and then we have to read
Yes.
the lease. Yeah. Commissioner Godu,
yes,
and I vote yes. You really want me to?
I like when you do that. It's a whole long, real good at it. It keeps you going.
Keeps me going?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Fiscal year 2026 lease reimbursement resolution. Resolution of the Board of Commissioners, County of Rockingham, New Hampshire, declaring its intention to reimburse itself from the proceeds of the lease financing for certain equipment. Board of Commissioners for the County of Rockingham, New Hampshire, the county has determined that it may be necessary or desirable to advance money to pay the cost for acquiring one 2035 GM XD electric vehicle, collectively the equipment. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners for the County of Rockingham, New Hampshire. One, the Board of Commissioners adopts this declaration of officially intent. Two, the Board of Commissioners reasonably expects to reimburse advances made or to be made by the county to pay the cost of acquiring equipment from proceeds of certain lease financing with TD Equipment Finance Incorporated. The maximum amount of finance expected to be issued in one or more series for the equipment is $36,193. The vendor supplying the equipment to whom monies would be advanced by the county is Country Club Enterprises LLC DDAC2 vehicles for $36,193 total. 3, the resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. Foregoing resolution was adopted by the Board of Commissioners at its meeting on January 8th, 2026. So be it. On the resolution, Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu,
yes.
and I vote yes. Resolution.
Thank you.
Thank you for saving us at least 3 minutes of time.
Motion to approve the line item transfer dated January 5th, 2026, and amount $79,500 transferring to general government legal, general government educational assistance, finance office staff, human resources conferences, and nursing home administrative service contracts and general government labor relations as recommended by the senior director of finance.
Second,
Discussion?
I just want to say thank you to the departments that helped with contributing some amounts towards this transfer.
I think
Because it is general government, so it's.
specifically long-term care, which has contributed significantly, and it's all because of, I mean, the reality is you've been really, what? Yeah, it is all, but no, but you've worked really hard on those this came out of your service contracts line. And there's been a lot of effort to look at those contracts, look what we don't need and not because the line was inflated, but because you've made cuts and changes so that it is, so that we're operating as streamlined as possible. And so this isn't like, oh, let's pad this line so that we have extra money. This is because you actually took what was from last year and made cuts, which is why we have this extra money available. And I mean, I feel very concerned generally that both our labor relations, which is really a legal line, and our legal line are huge this year. And I know everyone's been mindful of it, but you know, I think just like code red for the commissioners that we really need to be, and department head, we need to be like, we're this far over and we're only halfway through the year. So we need to be like paying very careful attention, because this could explode that much more. We still have 6 months to go.
And don't we have 2 contracts to negotiate this year?
We're gonna have, that is a different separate
Oh, that's
conversation
it.
we need to talk about. This is basically legal line. And I think we're gonna have to do really,
This is just our labor relations.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it is we're gonna, the delegation, the executive committee is gonna, this is gonna pop out at them.
And it's worth
The
noting
way
that
that does it.
when we budgeted this, it was based on how much we used last year. It wasn't like that we slashed and burned this line last year when it was based on our usage. So we've exploded, and, you know, knowing the pipeline isn't getting better in the next few months, as I can see, so mindful. Thank you for all the department heads. I know Chuck Allison, you were also pitching in. Everybody, there's a lot of places of, this is like the only, you know, lemonade out of this is that it's the way the county works together.
And just when we talk about human resources, I had a conversation yesterday with Allison. You know, asked me, I need legal, she kind of gives me the, and we gotta do it. There's something we can't turn our back on. So Allison asked me for a couple of items yesterday that she could be briefly, she said briefly, so that's good. Like,
It's not personnel, it's more contractual language, but I was gonna ask the board for it. I'm more heightened of it, and I probably take it a little bit more to heart, but this is not personnel matters. This is just trying to get the new law, the RSA, that the one to do with the new leave for the state of New Hampshire, and then I'll talk to you about the other one. But it's the wrong place to talk about it. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none on the motion for line item transfer, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrilla?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have another line item transfer.
Motion to approve a line item transfer request dated January 5th, 2026, the amount of $54,768 transferring from delegation contingency to general government insurances recommended by the Senior Director of Finance.
Second.
Discussion?
Chuck?
So I've had some inquiries of some people at Primex as far as why they increase everything so much. And obviously part of this is that we added the new building on, which had a bit of an impact on the property portion. But my understanding is that there's 2 significant outstanding liability claims that are open. And they, Primex must have determined what the dollar level of the reserves should be later in calendar year 2025, because these are calendar year policies as far as with Primex. And so that's the main driver of the increase for the 2026 premium. So we might have, you know, it might, if the claim settled that lower amount, then you could see a return of premium, you know, for next year, and then hopefully a decrease. But we'll see. But that was the 2 pieces that are the main drivers of the increase for the 26.
So basically, if our exposure increases, whether for whatever reason, then our Primex insurance is gonna go up.
So we did budget for a 14% increase over the actual amount of 25. So it's not like there was no, you know, in the budget figure, there was taking account like something was gonna be level. No, we did budget for an increase, just not this kind of increase.
They actually valued it almost the exact amount that the building cost to build. I noticed the amount, I think it was 56% was the increase on the overall building. They valued it $71 million over. So almost, I mean, I thought, you know, when you build something, it's not exactly what you built it for.
Right.
But they're hitting us for about 71 million.
I think they changed something behind the scenes as far as their formulas, as far as what they're setting aside for the property portion of the premium to be. The 25 calendar year premium, only 17% of the whole premium was for property. Now, for this upcoming year, the percentage is higher. Yes, it would be increased anyways, because our overall exposure list increased with adding on, almost 70 million for the new building and contents. But still, anyways, I saw some questions, and actually we'll, Primex tomorrow, so, you'll be able to somewhere.
Okay. Oh, you're missing.
Executive committee meeting for LJCs today.
Great.
So,
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes,
Commissioner Godu?
Yes,
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have human resources per diem wage schedule revision.
I'll make a motion to amend the fiscal year 2026 per diem wage schedule effective January 8, 2026, as recommended by the Senior Director of Human Resources.
second.
Discussion?
I just want to- The only one that was altered was the Commissioner's office.
Correct.
Everything else looks like it's stayed the same.
We had brought it in after the year, but yes, there is that, because that was a half year thing in your budget to allow for that.
And just to be transparent for the other ones that might not want to know what we're doing, is just if we're gonna do an administrative assistant towards Layla, it's to bring the per diem rate up, correct?
It would be for a temp clerical position,
Yeah.
that allows you the flexibility of having somebody here or not in any given year. We budgeted for some.
I didn't get a raise.
You're elected. Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes,
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We're moving right into department head updates, and Allison, continue away.
We are just trying to finalize the fitness gym and getting that stuff done, and, I've been heavy on some other stuff that's going on in personnel for quite mostly all departments with the exception of one. It's just been busy and we're just moving on. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
We're at 180 and we're catching up from the holidays. So I got, thank you.
That's just not even fair, that's what I,
We'd rather you talk a little more. You want to talk a little more? No,
now I'm
that's
gonna look
fine.
even more winded than normal. So our
not
next,
possible.
don't touch me. The nursing home is at 136, the assisted living is at 46. We have an anticipated move-in next week on that one. We have 2 residents that are currently flu positive, although as long as nothing changes, would clear tomorrow. We don't have any staff that are currently confirmed because those individuals have returned, but we do have a lot of sickness and symptoms right now with staff out that we're working through, just not confirmed. Some general items, the nursing home is in a mask mandate because of the New Hampshire levels of flu in the environment in the community. So we are in masks over there. We had the Winter Wonderland last week, which was really wonderful, and have gotten a lot of really positive feedback from residents and staff. Again, it's the second year that we've done that. I had my meeting today with the nursing school that I talked about that was coming in for twice a week, 7 to 3 clinicals. That was the third, their final trimester. And today they actually asked if we would take a second one. So we agreed it's through the same school. So we will have a second trimester and then a final one. So we 4 days a week will have clinical nurses in the center. So really excited about that, working through some of that, really hoping to get a couple of them on our side. Yeah, truly working because they're in other buildings too for their sessions to then come into our building. The building's so beautiful and so much positive things that I'm hopeful. And the last thing I just want to provide an update. A handful of weeks ago, I had notified you that CORE, who provides 2 of our providers, gave notice. It's not a service that they were able to continue. I've worked with those 2 providers to see if there were other options through the other provider we use for 3 of our doctors, seeing if there was an IT way. There is currently no way to do that. We are looking right now, so more to come on it, we currently are contracted with a company that provides some services to our assisted living that has a provider that would be able to step in to fill that component for the nursing home. So having conversations around those pieces, and I have put those providers that are impacted in touch with them to see if there's a way to do that. And I haven't heard on that side of it yet, but anticipating that change, and one of the providers that impacted is our medical director. So, but.
What-
So, go ahead. So the company that we currently utilize and are affiliated with and have a relationship for the assisted living is called Vantage. That company was recommended by 2 other county homes, as well as 2 other individuals that I work closely with or peers with outside of the county that utilize them with good success as well. So kind of working through those pieces now,
Right.
but wanted to at least give you an update for the time being. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, I've been sitting here on the phone because we have House Bill 314, which has been on the floor since they resumed this afternoon. That's the lobbying bill that we would not have been able to obviously lobby through New
That would
Hampshire
be
Association of
so
Counties. And ITL'd. We were very successful in all the people that we contacted and the alerts that we sent out. So it's a big deal, guys. It really is a big
Wow.
deal. It's big stuff. So,
That's coming out of committee or on the
oh
floor?
no, it's on the floor of the house. So good stuff there. That's pretty pleased about that. We did offer 2 people positions and they have accepted. So they'll be starting the end of the month. So we're very happy about that. And we finally have people coming in to sit and do research in the vault. So we're pleased with that. So it's been a little bit of a while, but now it's, they're there, they're like, oh, it's so beautiful here. They're sitting at the windows, looking out the front, just loving it. So we're pretty pleased about that. And that's, it's same old at the office. I know that we had a very successful month of December, money-wise, for the county and for the state. And we started out very well this month with huge transfer tax stamps. I mean, the first day was over $380,000 transfer tax. So, which is nice because it sits in our coffers
Yeah.
all month.
Yeah.
So earning us
Yeah, get in
interest.
at the close
Yeah.
at the start of the month. That's
Exactly.
right. Public service announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
At the
We
end of
love it. Yep, we love it.
How is
So-
the mail?
We're still having issues with the mail. It's funny because we did get some mail today finally, but it's interesting because the stuff was mailed, believe it or not, the first week of December, and we just got it today. So we've been waiting, and we're still getting a lot of complaints, but the amount of mail that we're getting is nothing compared to what we're expecting when it finally catches up, because it'll catch up at some point, so. But it is what it is.
Where's the difficulty? Is there something we can do
It's the
to?
forwarding. So Kingston forwards it to Worcester, Massachusetts.
Hmm.
Because Worcester, Massachusetts is the facility that does all forwarding mail. That's where the problem is, so.
Well, there's some, just at least tracking down where the problem is.
Right.
Is the first stop.
Exactly, absolutely. Well, that's my report. Thank you so much.
We've been super busy with trials this week, and it's also been grand jury, so our attorneys have been going back and forth. We're still working on getting the space that's over in the courthouse set up. 2 of the rooms still don't have locks on them. We're trying not to push too much because we still are obviously utilizing space over, so we're trying to be like reasonable about the fact that it's not done, so we're not able to kind of set up the location up how we would like to yet. So right now, when attorneys are going to the courthouse, they're kind of having to do it in 2 little closing rooms for secure areas. So we're hoping that soon we can get those 2 additional rooms to be secure. So we're kind of just like managing that, but.
There are 4 rooms?
Yeah, we have 4, but right now only 2 are secure, so we're trying to manage that, but I think we're doing overall pretty good with it. But for us, the mail tracking is going a little bit better. We have really tried to make sure that we went as electronic as possible, so we kind of shift how we operated with like public defenders department. We told them to stop sending it through the mail and can actually send those requests through secure email and stuff like that. So we actually probably knocked half of our mail that we were getting out. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Very.
So we've been trying
Save the
really
sand,
hard.
sand.
Yeah. And then the only thing that we've been noticing really for mail not coming correctly is people are sometimes writing the wrong address. So we had a couple that were writing 107 North Road and it was from December 1st and then we just got it like Monday, really. But that's obviously the person that's sending it's problem, not the mail. But so other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have some of my usually exciting report items. I will tell you, I talked to Sarah Lindberry a couple of weeks ago, Lineberry, and she said that they have issued a purchase order to secure those 2 rooms. But, you know, it's a process, it's the state, but the POs were issued, so she was very nice about it. So it's in the works, whatever that might mean. As far as facilities go, all is well. We're very busy. They're working on the heat in the facilities building today. We have no heat today and tomorrow, so I bundled up this morning. It's been sort of failing for a little bit, but it's finally finished failing. The cobbler's kids go barefoot, so we're getting the heat now. It's coming. The fire watch is off happily in the nursing home. I'm still working on collecting all of the expenses. I'll let you know as soon as I have it from Honeywell. I've got a meeting with him tomorrow morning.
We're gonna get you, we're gonna get an overall look at what that cost is, because I mean, that's
Yep.
perfect for.
I'm working on it.
For the Dallas.
Yes.
Wow.
What a contingency. I mean, I
Right.
already talked to Ken Weiler about
Right.
it. Cheryl knows that we had it, so I
I
mean,
think
that's
it's
what
gonna
it's
hit us
for.
from nursing home purchase services the hardest. I do. I think that's where the hit's gonna be. But I'll find out tomorrow. It's
You
my
know-
line, don't
I
worry.
know, it's hate me.
Yeah, but that's-
Catch-all.
Not the catch-all, I hate it being the problem. The problem, that's what it is.
Well, number 4 is scheduled to start. Our well number 4 out back here that we have constructed as part of this project is scheduled to be flushed tomorrow. And should be online very shortly thereafter. We're pretty excited. There's a control panel that needs to be installed in well number 3, well house number 3. That's due on the 13th. So that well number 4 has been a long process. We're really excited about getting it started up. So that should start tomorrow. The chiller at the jail is being replaced on Monday, not that you care, but the commissioning will be done on Monday. The refurbishment of the glycol and the heat loops is going to be taken care of on Monday at the jail as well. The fire department, Brentwood Fire Department, New Hampshire State Fire Marshal's Office will be here tomorrow to do a walkthrough testing that bi-directional antenna system that the fire department needed. So that's one of our very last things that needs to be checked off. I think New Hampshire's about to hand us off to Brentwood pretty soon. But it's been wonderful to have them, like, they just bring so much knowledge to and expertise. It's been really great to have them on board. And other than that, we're just like picking away at everything in the building. The end is the longest. Right?
It's always the punch list. My
It is.
gosh.
It
it's
really
like,
is.
It takes forever.
Yeah, the
Doesn't matter what-
construction meeting was like, I love you guys, go away.
Yeah.
Jason?
I would just like to add to some stuff, Jude. We have had a significant increase in sprinkler heads being broken.
One person.
Yeah,
Wait,
one person, but multiple sprinkler heads. So,
one friend at the
Yeah.
Dios.
yeah,
A tenant at the Red Brick Inn.
yes. Which has been very interesting because most of the staff has never experienced a sprinkler head being broken. Where in my career, I've seen, I can't tell you how many, and some of the people have been around lieutenants and stuff. It's funny to watch them like they don't know what to do. Our fault, we got trained more, but thank you for replacing those. It's been nothing but it's a pain. The person will be charged. It's a felony, for the sheriff's department. But it has been, there's gotta be either 3 or 4 of them that have been
3 so far.
3.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you had to order some more to put them on the shelf, because
We actually have an RFP out for replacing about 100 in the building because of age and toothpaste and whatnot. I'm negotiating with the vendor now for toothpaste.
Yeah,
If
but
they put
toothpaste-
toothpaste on a sprinkler head, it's stronger than cement when it dries.
they use toothpaste to hang everything. I used to-
Yeah.
And, yeah, it'll turn like cement.
Yeah.
You can't clean it, it's crazy. I have
That's-
no idea.
They block their vents, so the heat can't go through, then it transfers to somebody else. They say, my room's cold. Well, get the toothpaste off there.
Yep.
Here's a scraper. Anyways, I digress,
It's
but thank you.
it's the fun times we have. That's all.
Can I get a
have to
clean
say,
copy?
Thank you.
It's an education for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's great. Kate's in the she knows, so it's like.
Let's see, we're just very busy in finance with, very many quarter end and calendar year end items. Again, the month following quarter end is always fun. HAC officers and executive committee meeting, tomorrow. And at Primex, we're gonna be going over many, the bill positions. That's great news on 314. Thank you, Kathy. Busy also on the 12/31 quarterly reports for the delegation executive committee meeting for Friday, January 23rd. That'll be 9:30. Actually, it'll be over here. It's not in the Hilton, so. You said announcement that's in the Hilton. Let's see, emails did go out as far as asking departments for the revenue expense accruals. Sorry for the short notice, but really, most departments don't generally have to worry about revenue accruals. And on the expense accruals, it's only those items that were not, part of, well, we include anything in today's AP run. So don't include anything, that's been up through today's AP run.
Yeah.
So that might mean you have no departmental expense accruals. But if also it's something that you have that's an open purchase order, so it's in the encumbrance folder in accounting query or requisitions, just let us know, we'll go with those totals for those expense accounts, but again, as usual, very busy, very different things.
Thank you. Leila.
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I have something for Leila, if I can.
Go ahead.
My team is so excited about the new form that you made for mileage,
Oh,
so thank you. I've like, multiple people came and were like, I'm so, and I was like, okay, I'll tell her. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, that was
The
nice.
simple things, but like Christmas for them.
Anything to make things easier. Okay, moving on, we have some new business, old business, first year, finance office. Impact of, sorry, I paused, I gave you confusion. Go ahead.
Motion to approve the remaining portion of certain union stipends for calendar year 2026. Shall be distributed evenly across the remaining 26 bi-weekly pay periods in accordance with respective collective bargaining agreement provisions and recommended by the senior director of human resources and the senior director of finance.
Okay. You should happen.
Thanks.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes.
Commissioner Godu,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Any other new business? I mean, do you think we should talk about how we have we got a copy of the ICE contract and that we need to schedule a public hearing, or do we want to wait for additional documentation? Just,
I mean, it's nice to see that ICE contract, but it's incomplete until we see the financial aspects of it.
yeah,
So-
so is our intent to wait to schedule the public hearing until we get the rest of the financials?
Yeah, I think that,
Or what do we want to do? Or do we want to just schedule it and schedule it out?
I think I'm gonna look at it and probably have multiple questions. I'll need to go back and forth from here, probably for Jason, probably to Washington, can answer. I don't think we're gonna look at it. Look at the trouble we had with getting a cleaning company.
Well, I know, I like.
But I mean, I think it's a couple months out. I mean, if we were gonna, or maybe a month out. At least, I think I wanna really look at it, because this is probably the biggest decision that we're gonna come across other than building this building.
Okay.
In a long time, so that one, I wanna really, cause Jason and I talked quite a bit about it. And I wanna have some questions that I'm gonna feel once I take some time to go through it.
so I think that we should get all of the information and then talk it out among ourselves before we schedule a hearing.
Okay.
And the hearing would be the same time, the same day, I assume, that we would consider voting on it, right? So if we were to get the financial information next week, the week after that, it'd be about the right time to have full discussion unless we're gonna get the financial information in a couple of days.
Yeah, I have like a lot, I just started going through, but I have like more questions than, there's a lot of unknowns from reading the contract. I also, do you want to?
I just say that the financial stuff, my anticipation is to have the cost for the staffing, meals and medical. But what that costs I'll have for next week, and then I just gonna assume that you're gonna have questions, and some of the questions I'm gonna need to send to ICE itself, because and we might get the standard answer, this is their standard contract, because I sent it over to Stratford for them to look at, it's the same contract they have. But I anticipate that I will have to send some things out.
Okay, and then the other, yeah, so I guess there's that aspect, there's, yeah, I have those questions that are just sort of, we're warming up on. Yeah, and then the other factor is, I think that we should send the contract to Primex, because, our exposure, if we enter into such a contract, is going to, so we have them free to looking at contracts, so I see no,
That's why I asked again, because I guess in the past we haven't sent federal one, so I'm just making sure, if you guys want sent, it'll be sent, it's just, that's why I want to make sure what your decision is.
Will they evaluate it?
Yeah, it'll just.
ship it. Why
They'll
would we-
evaluate it even though it's federal, right?
Yeah, probably.
But what, yeah, there's.
Well,
Yeah.
If not, they're also bad.
Yeah,
But I
no,
mean-
absolutely, we should send it.
Because, and I think what one of the factors is this going to, what is our exposure increase for, we just spent this meeting talking about how our Primex costs are going up. So when we're evaluating overall cost increase,
Is this
what
gonna
is this?
affect?
Yeah. So, anyway. So
So send it to Primex.
I think, yeah, and then that might generate questions that then have to go to ICE, like most likely. We're gonna have this,
They'll point out our liabilities, that anything that we're missing that's not obvious.
I can see things, there's like sight and sound separation for juveniles. That's something that's like,
We don't take juvenile, so that's not even part of it, so.
not according to the contract.
There's no section there about if accidentally one shows up,
Right, but we
But-
still have to
but
comply.
we don't take them,
I understand, but if one shows up and it's,
we still wouldn't take them.
What would you do with them?
they said.
They wouldn't come inside the facility, we'd
They
make other
said-
arrangements.
Part of the contract is at 72 hours.
Correct, but I've already spoken with them, because where a facility doesn't take them, neither Stratford County or anybody else, we don't take them, period. If you're a juvenile, you don't take them.
I
period.
know, because you need sight and sound.
Correct.
So my point is.
No, you got a bunch of questions.
Right, that's an example of, it's not in the it still says in the contract, we have to hold it for 72 hours. So, anyway,
So way back when this whole ICE thing was gonna happen, ICE was not, they were very reluctant to answer questions that we had. So I think now ICE, now that we've got a contract, they said we would not answer any questions till we got an RFP.
We'll answer questions, it's just, I guess they have a call contract office, so the questions that you guys decide you have, that's what I'd send it to.
Because I think, Jason and I went to one of the other ICE facilities and we got to ask some questions, but they were reluctant. And then they basically told us that I had more questions and the answer was not until, so now that we've have the RFP from them, are they willing to answer the questions?
I assume so, but you're gonna ask specific questions of the RP contract, so they would have to answer them. I
It's
don't know, but I'm gonna
because
assume they have to answer those questions.
not to beat a dead horse, but we talk about the meals, we talk about the medical, we talk about everything. But the big thing is we pay all that. When are we getting paid? So there's a lot. This thing is
And
not gonna,
rates.
this, huh?
It's in there.
I understand, but like compared to what we're paying with roll-ups, it's not.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't,
cost-effective.
we need to ask them all those questions, so I don't wanna dive into this thing like it's gonna happen March 1st or April 1st.
so-
I think this is a lot of work ahead of us, but we're gonna look at it and make a decision, yes or no.
So once we go through it and Primex goes through it and we've discussed with Primex, because then we can come up with a list of questions that we want to send to their contractual office.
Wait to get those
Let's wait,
back, and once we have all
discuss it
the
again.
answers, then we'll schedule the public hearing at
Right.
some point.
Right, so I think, Tom, your evaluation of a month or two, is probably close. It'll take that long, because we have to look at this closely.
Hopefully we get the cleaner thing done. If we get this cleaner thing done, then we can really focus.
That was an hour out of my life we won't get back.
Trying.
Okay, well, I think it's valuable to just start the
Yeah.
discussion and get
Yeah.
a plan going forward, because it's here and we need, I mean, if we are spending much time on cleaning, the decision to hold detainees should be,
They're sending me something.
Triple that time.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna send you some questions.
Triple.
Well, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Have a
very
nice
much.
day.
Does anybody else have any new business or old business?
I had old business because you asked me to go back to Primex on the release waiver. And they did go back and say that they won't look at them because potentially it could be not enforceable for local governments. So I did reach out to a couple of the other
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't oriented. I was like,
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
the fitness gym.
Okay,
So I did go back and do my due diligence on that.
yes, we were talking about.
They did, I did
I just-
call a few of the counties and they have responded back that they do have waivers as well. I have reached out to a couple other places off-site, other public, like fitness gyms and stuff like that. They all continue to have waivers too. They just said that to go back to your legal counsel for the waiver. There's a couple of things that we want to make sure in the waiver that we have. I wanted to take the waiver that we have and I wanted to make it into one, referencing that we have two fitness gyms. And that some of the things that weren't in the other one is that we want to make sure that the centers in the language, it says the use of these gyms is voluntary, totally voluntary. We don't have that in the current one, that it needs to be used on the employee's own time and that it's not in the scope of their employment for workers' comp issues and related to that. And that we're leaving it up to the employee that they have discussed with their physician, their ability to participate in physical activity, because it could be someone that shouldn't be and is in there and does that. And that we do not provide supervision and that we're not responsible for any personal property that they bring into the gym, and that a copy of the document will go in their personnel file. Will it alleviate us from all liability and talking to different aspects? No, but it gives us some room to have some safeguards in there that they were explained to have some stuff. So I vetted out the wording on this and I would appreciate the ability to go to legal because I've done a lot of the legwork on it and Julie and I have passed it through each other a couple different times. I've gone out to SHRM too, my Society of Human Resource Management that has some white pages and stuff like there too, to also look at stuff because sometimes the stuff out there has been through legal, but it's not exactly to us. But I just was hoping I could have the permission to do that.
I mean.
Did you already discuss this with Primex?
I went to Primex with it, but they don't. I was asked to go back and they said no.
Okay,
But they originally, back in the day when I went back to historical persons, they used to do waivers and stuff for a lot of different things, but they've done and releases and they've gotten out of doing that totally.
let's find some releases that the first rule of law school, don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And so I think if so they won't review a release that we
They
have.
They will not. They won't. They
I
said
just-
legal. And I did take our current one that we had from them, but I've added some language in there.
Well, why don't
specific.
we start by reviewing it and then seeing
Sure.
if before we get to
Yeah, I can do that.
start billing at $2.50 an hour, let's see if we can get to some place if we've already had it vetted the person. I don't want to expose us, but I also don't want to.
I don't either, but I think we should have something, right? I think there should be something a waiver of some
Oh,
sort.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have a waiver.
Right.
I'm just saying maybe where the commissioners can look at it first and then we can see where we need to go.
We have-
Or that, like, just the edit, I'm sure it's outstanding, but
No, I
we've
read
got a
it.
number of lawyers here.
I have, I have read.
Attorney Stacy.
It'll be, everything's in black, the current language, and you'll see the red lines of where we've added and put
Yeah,
information.
so let's
That'll
start.
be easy. So
Why
I'll
don't we
send
just
it over.
eliminate it?
I'll send it over to Layla, if
before-
that's okay.
That's great.
And
Before we-
then I just want to confirm that I can at least do the policy, the legal aspect of looking at the RSA policy for the new leave to embed in our PPPs, because that holds us to everything liability wise. And that's already been vetted and pretty, I feel very sound on that, so it shouldn't take them too long to. Thank you so much.
Any other new business, old business?
I'm good.
Okay, with that, we will now enter into non-public. Thank you, everybody. I'll take a motion. to enter into non-
Motion to enter into non-public session for New Hampshire RSA 91.8.3, comma, 2A personnel. Emergency.
Second.
Yes.
The motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We're now in non-public. We need, I have a question. Good afternoon. We're back in a fairly empty, the room looks so empty when you come back here in non-public session. We had 5 non-public sessions, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Tombrello to make 2 motions relative to 3 non-public sessions.
I'll make a motion to seal the non-public minutes. Want to seal number 3 and number 5 indefinitely, as they would affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the board. 1, 2, and 4. I would
I think we're just 3 and 5 sealing indefinitely, and 4, we are also sealing indefinitely because it could render a proposed action ineffective. 1 and 2 are not.
Yes. I'll agree. I'll make that as part of my motion.
Second.
Are you comfortable with that, Commissioner?
Well, I was just, maybe restating it would help
Okay.
me
Do you
to,
want me to?
Yeah, just go down the list.
Okay,
Liz, we have 5 sessions. Which ones are we sealing?
we were sealing 3 and 5 indefinitely because they could adversely affect the reputation other than a member of this board. And we're sealing 4 indefinitely because it could render a proposed action ineffective and we don't have an end date on it.
okay. I
1
got
and
it.
2 were
Yeah, thank you.
1,
And
2,
yes,
and proposed action.
I had my, I had
numbers.
2 numbers
misnumbered.
were
Yeah.
missed. That's why I was
Okay,
concerned.
is there any further discussion on this matter?
No.
Hearing none, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Finally, we have 1 more motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.